hopefully this will be a programme that you enjoy this afternoon. And I think where we're coming from is what we really want to say is how much we value the learning mentors that we have in Southend and what a tremendous job they do. So it's partly for that reason that we're here, and it's also for people to understand exactly what that job is that they're doing in school, to get a snapshot of how the job has changed as the years have gone by, and also to get an understanding of how important their network meetings are, because you will see that on the chair you have a list of the network meetings. So that really is the aim for the afternoon, to show the learning mentors the impact that they have on schools, and not only on pupils but on parents and school staff.
The team has grown at Blenheim over, actually we've had them since about 2003 I think. We have at the moment got an inclusion manager, Sam Taylor, and 5 learning mentors. And I can tell you hand on heart that it's the learning mentors and their team that are the key contributor to the improvements in the standards of attainment at Blenheim, the improved attitudes to learning, outstanding relationships with parents and carers, and a supported staff. Without them, I know that Blenheim would quickly fail to be successful in removing barriers to our young learners. Standards would fall and behaviour and attitudes would become a real issue. Simply, we would not be able to meet the needs of our learners without our learning mentors and that team.
Hello, I'm Jill Lyons. I'm from Futures Community College in Southend. I'm a transition learning mentor. I am the only transition learning mentor in Southend. I get to go into the primary schools and meet with the year 6s to get them ready to come up to Futures in September.
As the learning mentor team grew over the past 9 years, the support from the learning mentor team has absolutely been fantastic. And I have to say, I sit in conversations with them sometimes in my room, and I cannot believe some of the questions they're asking parents. I'm sitting there thinking, how did they put that like that? You know, they're so sensitive. They know the parents inside out. They actually know. I was listening to Dee one day in my room, she won't mind me saying, and she really challenged this parent. And I kind of gulped. But the parents, because they've got the trust and respect for Dee, they accepted that, and they actually be able to respond back to her. And she knows how impressed I was.
We're having a celebration of learning mentors. Myself, I've been a learning mentor for 6 years, coming up to the 6th year. And I think this is a really good idea. We do a valuable job, and it's nice to come to something like this and be recognised, and to hear how the other learning mentors, you know, are valued and how they feel about themselves. It's lovely, really good.
So I started looking at job descriptions to think, where do I start? And I thought, okay, it says learning mentor, communication skills, problem solving skills, confident, calm, all lovely sounding words. And I started thinking about the communication skills and thought, okay, that can be the hard skills like the writing reports and having a discussion. And it can be those soft skills that are very elusive and very intangible. And it made me think of an old native saying that's some of you may have heard, it may be just my American and me, softly, softly, catchy monkey. It refers to situations where achieving success requires a patient, careful and quiet strategy. And it's sometimes simply said as softly, softly. And I thought, that's us, isn't it? Softly, softly. We come in, we get a call, we come rushing in, softly, softly. And we check it out, softly, softly. And then, a chair goes flying over your head. But we're still there, softly, softly. And then, tables fly, pencil pots go. But we still stay there, softly, softly. And then that little person they've been barked at by the teacher, and they've been barked at by the TA, and their friends are going, there he goes again. And they finally tune in to our softly, softly, and then they melt into your arms, and they sob a little, or they calm down, or like the other day, they fall asleep under the table. And I think that's what I'm proud of, is that elusive communication skills that we have.
I'm Kim Henderson. I'm a learning mentor at St Bernard's High School and Arts College. I'm the Key Stage 4 mentor. I've been there almost 5 years. I work with students that have barriers to learning, like most of the mentors here today. Our roles are all different within different schools. We compete with obviously the high schools, so therefore my role can be academic, but therefore the students that are have problems with their academia, not achieving targets and things like that, or also have other problems too that you don't realise, although they're very bright and very clever.
I was employed at Hingewer Primary School. I've been a learning mentor for 7 years there now, and I was the learning mentor for the Women's Refuge, which now has moved to another school. While I was, dealing with the families at the refuge and the children, and we had quite a high content of children from our school who were in domestic violence or who had been in domestic violence, I realised that I kept on having to refer them back to the Dove Project when they finished it was called Wingspan then, but now it's staying Safe Groups. And they just felt like they were on their own and they was really struggling. So I thought about setting up a support group for these children, and that's where Thursday Club was set up. And originally I had the refuge coordinating with me with this group, and we started with 3 children. It really did work well, because ever since we've had Thursday Club, I haven't had to refer any other children back. The main thing is that, you can do more harm if that child gets reliant on you've really got to just teach them strategies to cope and, give them some nurture as well, but somehow not allow them to become reliant on you, because you do more harm then. It's very hard to know the balance, really. Yeah.
So raise your hand if you've been punched, kicked, bitten. How many have had a parent absolutely refuse to let you help their child? And how many of you have gone home and cried? Please join me in that one. Thank you. So years ago I worked at Tesco's, and to be honest, if a customer came in and kicked and screamed and told me and made me cry, I would have quit. But here we all are. We keep coming back. We're like that weeble that wobbles. But we don't fall down, we just keep going. We're pulled in every direction within the school. The idea of the neat, tidy cohort that comes in a regular, steady stream of referrals in reality is an onslaught of huge, great need and huge trust in our ability to just fix it and hope that we can have some level of impact. When I was first given the job, I was told I would have 5 children on my cohort until I settled in. But before I even stepped into the school the first day, the number was up to 12. By the end of the week, it was 17. And at first, gosh, I was, daunted. I felt this was all new. How could I support these children and their families, as well as the staff? But there was honestly no time to be that petrified deer in the headlights, because the children needed me. They needed us. And I still feel daunted, and I still drop balls here and there. But there's a sense of being privileged to hold such an important and pivotal role within the school and the community. So in my short experience as a learning mentor, I've found that we communicate, we solve problems, we get hurt inside and out, but we persevere. We persevere in ways that nobody else does. And I think for that we should be really proud.
We build up really good relationships with people here, because we've known each other for probably 5 years, most of us. And you can offload to each other, which is good. You know that you can, yeah.
We know that the learning mentor role, we've had it from everybody here today, it is absolutely key. And when I stop and reflect on what I do in my time in the schools and what everyone else in our team does, it is massive. We are not just, as we were 5 years ago, working with a child in school in a classroom. We are supporting so many families and the children. And the other aspect I would bring to your attention is the support for your staff. Okay, it's all very well we're saying children, yes, of course, children are very, very important. Support the families, because if you've got the families on board, 9 times out of 10 you'll get rid of the barriers that are holding the child back. But supporting each other, your fellow professionals, is a key point as well. Okay, so again, that's another really big area that I'd ask you to look at. And of course, this is all for the benefit of our learning community as a whole. So that's not just our school, it's the people around the school, our community, all of us. Okay. I'm not going to go away without saying thank you. I've said thank you to Marianne. Thank you, my team. And thank you, Gillian, and Sandra Roberts, wasn't it, beforehand? Oh, Sandra, thank you. And do please consider doing the training, and any heads are here, I'd say please give your staff the opportunity. It will do the world of good.
I did my learning mentoring with Hilary Wilson, and I have to say when I took on the role as a learning mentor at Futures, it was in the thought-based school, I had no idea what I'd let myself in for, no idea at all. And the first lot of training with Hilary, I was thinking, well, you know, it can't be that bad. It really can't be that bad. But I was doing on the spot training. I was already in the position, and as she was talking, like each week I went back for more training. I'd already hit that wall. I'd already come to the point where I was like, oh, thank goodness you're telling me what to do. Thank goodness I'm getting some help now, because it was so diverse, so diverse.
My name's Keegan Waters, I'm 10 years old and I'm in Machine's class at Thorpe Junior School. When I thought I couldn't go to Chigwell, I felt upset and left out when Mum said I couldn't go because she didn't have enough money. Dad was going to pay half, but he didn't, and Mum couldn't afford it. When Miss Dorling sorted it out with Mum, I felt happy and excited to be going. I didn't feel left out anymore. The best bit about Chigwell was Miss Blight coming down the abseiling. She was really scared. I was very proud of her afterwards, as Mum doesn't trust me a lot. Miss Dorling says that means I have become more responsible, and it makes her proud of me, and now Mum lets me go to Shrewsbury Park. I think all children should be allowed to go on these trips if the school can work out money.
I think you said about going around with a smile. Well, going around with a smile is important, but I suppose what the course does also is help you deal with those really difficult feelings that make you not want to smile. The ways in which some of these children get right under our skin and fill us with really quite horrible feelings that are hard to manage. But if we acknowledge them and think about them and learn from them and use them to understand the communication from the child that's involved with them, then we're much, much better able to deal with those rather than just grin them away, because we've actually processed them and understood how much that difficult feeling we have is a communication from the child about what's going on for them and what happens to them in other relationships. Because the work is difficult, but the difficulty can be turned into an asset in a way by it showing us something very important about what's going on between that child and other people.
It can be it's a very rewarding job, but very tough. Yes, every day is different. That's what's good about the job. Every day is different. You meet different characters. Sometimes they do send you home and you need a gin and tonic day, and other days, you know, that you just sail through. You never know what's going to, you know, you hit the floor running every morning.
Now, I googled this one. Have a guess what that was? It's status quo, because I googled status. It's given them status, and that's what they richly deserve. And I want to, like many have said to me before, say thank you, Lisa and Claire. Why? Because we couldn't do it so well without you, and because every child matters. Thank you.